Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Today we dive into a topic that's not only important but also transformative: understanding male psychology. You see, when we truly understand someone, we connect with them on a level that transcends words, creating bonds that are unbreakable. Now, let me set the stage. Men, like women, are complex beings shaped by their experiences, values, and the roles society often assigns them. But here's the catch: many of us never pause to dig deeper. We see actions, hear words, but miss the story beneath it all. Let's talk about values. A man's core values are the compass guiding his life. If you want to understand him, look beyond what he says, pay attention to what he prioritizes, what he protects, and what he's willing to fight for. Communication is a big one. Men often speak in actions more than words. Sometimes the quiet moments or the gestures tell a bigger story than the loudest conversation. Understanding the core values of a man is essential for grasping how he thinks, behaves, and navigates the world. Core values are the deep-seated beliefs that form the foundation of an individual's identity, guiding their decisions, its actions, and priorities. For men, these values often emerge from a combination of upbringing, personal experiences, cultural influences, and societal expectations. They act as a compass, influencing everything from career choices and relationships to how they handle challenges and express themselves. To truly understand a man, one must go beyond surface-level observations and identify what he holds most important. For many men, these core values revolve around principles such as integrity, loyalty, responsibility, and perseverance. For instance, a man who values integrity will prioritize honesty and ethical behavior, even in difficult situations. Similarly, loyalty might manifest in his unwavering commitment to family, friends, or his career. These values are not always explicitly stated but can be observed through patterns of behavior over time. Watching how a man reacts under pressure or makes sacrifices for what he deems important can offer deep insights into his core values. It's also important to recognize that these values often act as a driving force behind a man's goals and ambitions. They give him a sense of purpose and direction. A man who values responsibility might feel compelled to work tirelessly to provide for his loved ones, even at the cost of personal comfort or leisure. Likewise, a man driven by the value of perseverance will likely exhibit resilience in the face of adversity, refusing to give up until he achieves what he set out to accomplish. Understanding this helps in interpreting his actions and decisions, even when they might seem puzzling on the surface. Core values also shape how a man perceives himself and his role in the world. A man who values independence may prioritize self-sufficiency and resist accepting help, not out of pride but because it aligns with his sense of identity. This can sometimes lead to misunderstandings in relationships, especially if his actions are misinterpreted as distant or detached. By recognizing the underlying values at play, it becomes easier to empathize with and support him in meaningful ways. To understand a man's core values, one must engage with patience and curiosity. It requires listening not just to what he says, but also to what he doesn't say. Actions often speak louder than words, and paying attention to consistent behaviors and choices can reveal the principles he stands by. Conversations about his past, his role models, and what he considers most important in life can provide valuable insights as well. Understanding a man's core values is about seeing the foundation of who he is. It's a journey of uncovering what motivates him, what inspires him, and what he's willing to fight for. This understanding deepens connection, fosters mutual respect, and helps create a bond rooted in authenticity and appreciation for who he truly is. Men often communicate in ways that are distinct from women, shaped by both societal norms and individual preferences. Understanding these differences is crucial for building meaningful connections and avoiding misunderstandings. Men tend to prioritize clarity, efficiency, and practicality in their communication, often focusing on the core message rather than the nuances surrounding it. This doesn't mean they lack depth or emotion in their interactions, but rather that their approach is often influenced by a preference for straightforwardness and action-oriented dialogue. For many men, communication is a tool for solving problems or exchanging information. When faced with challenges, they may focus on identifying solutions rather than delving into the emotional aspects of the issue. This tendency can sometimes be misconstrued as dismissiveness or a lack of empathy, but it often stems from a desire to be helpful or productive. For instance, if someone shares a problem, a man might instinctively offer advice or propose a plan of action, believing this to be the most constructive response. Understanding this inclination can help others interpret these actions as efforts to assist rather than ignoring emotional needs. Nonverbal communication also plays a significant role. Men often express themselves through actions rather than words, using gestures, body language, or tangible efforts to convey their feelings. For example, acts of service, such as fixing something around the house or providing support in practical ways, can be a way of showing care and commitment. Paying attention to these nonverbal cues can reveal much about their emotional state and intentions, even when their verbal expression might seem reserved or concise.
At times, societal expectations around masculinity may lead some men to limit their verbal expression of emotions. They may fear being perceived as vulnerable or overly emotional, which can result in a more restrained communication style.
However, this doesn't mean emotions aren't present, they are simply expressed differently. Creating a safe, judgment-free space can encourage men to open up and share their thoughts and feelings more freely. It's also important to recognize that men may need time to process their emotions before discussing them. Unlike those who prefer immediate emotional dialogue, some men benefit from stepping back, reflecting, and then articulating their thoughts. This can be seen not as avoidance, but as a method of ensuring they can communicate effectively and thoughtfully. Listening with patience and empathy is key to understanding a man's communication style. Asking open-ended questions and demonstrating genuine interest in his perspective can encourage deeper dialogue. Rather than pushing for immediate responses or emotional revelations, allowing conversations to unfold naturally can lead to more meaningful connections. Understanding how men communicate requires flexibility, observation, and a willingness to adapt. By recognizing and appreciating their unique communication styles, we can bridge gaps, foster mutual understanding, and build relationships that thrive on respect and authenticity. This understanding enhances not only personal connections, but also professional and social interactions, creating stronger, more harmonious dynamics. Men experience emotions as deeply and vividly as anyone else, but the ways in which they express these feelings can vary significantly due to societal expectations, personal upbringing, and individual temperament. Often, men are socialized to suppress or control their emotional expression, leading to the perception that they are less emotionally aware or engaged. This, however, is far from the truth. Their emotions are present and powerful, but they may be communicated in ways that are less overt or more action-based. Understanding this distinction is essential for truly connecting with and supporting the men in our lives. Society has long associated masculinity with traits like strength, stoicism, and self-reliance. From an early age, many boys are encouraged to toughen up or avoid showing vulnerability, which can create barriers to openly expressing emotions as adults. This conditioning often leads men to internalize their feelings rather than verbalize them, particularly emotions like sadness, fear, or anxiety. Instead of sharing these feelings outright, men might channel them into activities or behaviors that seem unrelated, such as focusing intensely on work, engaging in physical exercise, or withdrawing to process their thoughts alone. It's important to recognize that these patterns are not indicative of emotional detachment, but rather a different approach to processing and expressing emotions. Many men feel a strong need to maintain a sense of control, fearing that outward displays of emotion might be misinterpreted as weakness. This can make it challenging for them to articulate their feelings in vulnerable moments, even when they deeply desire connection and understanding. Creating an environment of trust is crucial for encouraging emotional openness. Men are more likely to share their emotions when they feel safe from judgment or criticism. Offering patience, empathy, and active listening without pressuring them to express themselves in a particular way can foster a sense of security. When a man feels that his emotions will be met with respect and understanding, he is more likely to let down his guard and communicate what he's feeling. Another key aspect is recognizing the ways men often express emotions through actions rather than words. For instance, a man might show his love and care by taking on responsibilities, offering practical help, or simply being present in difficult times. These gestures, though not verbal, are powerful indicators of his emotional depth and commitment. By valuing these nonverbal expressions, we can better understand and appreciate the full range of his emotions. It's also helpful to normalize conversations about feelings and mental well-being. Men need to know that seeking help or sharing emotions is not a sign of weakness, but an act of courage and self-awareness. Encouraging emotional literacy, helping men identify, name, and articulate their feelings can make it easier for them to engage in healthy emotional dialogue. Understanding how men experience and express emotions is about seeing beyond traditional stereotypes and recognizing their humanity. Emotions are universal, and while the expression might differ, the need for connection, validation, and understanding remains the same. By approaching this with compassion, we can strengthen relationships and create spaces where men feel empowered to be their authentic selves. Purpose is a cornerstone of a man's identity and plays a pivotal role in shaping his psychological and emotional well-being. For many men, a sense of purpose provides direction, meaning, and fulfillment, acting as a driving force that motivates their actions and decisions. It is often tied to their roles in life, such as being a provider, leader, protector, or contributor to society. This sense of purpose gives men a framework through which they measure their achievements and define their value in the world. Understanding this dynamic is essential for building empathy and fostering deeper connections. A man's sense of purpose is frequently linked to his career, passions, or contributions to his family and community. It's not merely about achieving success in the traditional sense, but about feeling that his efforts matter and make a difference. When a man believes his actions align with his goals and values, it reinforces his sense of self-worth. Conversely, when he feels aimless or disconnected from his purpose, it can lead to frustration, self-doubt, and even emotional withdrawal. Purpose also shapes how men respond to challenges and setbacks. When they have a clear sense of what they are working toward, they are often more resilient in the face of adversity. A man driven by purpose will see obstacles not as insurmountable, but as opportunities to grow and prove himself. This perseverance stems from a deep-rooted belief that his efforts are meaningful, not just for himself, but for those who depend on or look up to him. For some men, the quest for purpose can be a lifelong journey. They may struggle to define what truly matters to them, particularly in a world where societal expectations and personal desires sometimes conflict. The pressure to conform to certain roles or standards can make it difficult for men to explore their own aspirations fully. Encouraging self-reflection and providing support during this process can help them clarify their goals and discover what brings them fulfillment. It's important to recognize that a man's sense of purpose is not static. It evolves with time, shaped by life experiences, personal growth, and changing circumstances. For example, a man who once derived purpose from professional achievements might find greater meaning in raising his children or contributing to his community later in life. Understanding and respecting these shifts is essential for supporting a man as he navigates different stages of his journey. Helping a man align with his sense of purpose involves creating a space where he feels supported, encouraged, and free to explore his passions without judgment. Open conversations about what inspires and motivates him can lead to deeper insights into his priorities and aspirations. Encouragement to pursue his dreams, even in the face of challenges, reinforces his belief in his abilities and the value of his contributions. A man's purpose is more than a goal or ambition. It is a reflection of who he is and the legacy he hopes to leave behind. By understanding and appreciating the importance of purpose in his life, we can cultivate stronger, more meaningful relationships and empower him to live authentically and wholeheartedly. When it comes to conflict resolution, many men approach challenges with a solution-oriented mindset. They often prioritize resolving issues quickly and efficiently, aiming to fix the problem rather than dwelling on the emotional nuances surrounding it. This approach is deeply rooted in how men process and address conflict, which can sometimes lead to misunderstandings in personal and professional relationships. Understanding this tendency can bridge gaps in communication and foster more constructive interactions. For men, Addressing conflict is often about taking action. Instead of focusing on discussing every detail of what went wrong, they may immediately seek ways to resolve the issue. This behavior is not necessarily an avoidance of emotions, but rather a pragmatic response to what they perceive as the most pressing need, finding a solution. For example, if a man notices a problem at work or in a relationship, his instinct might be to propose concrete steps to address it rather than explore how it made him or others feel. This approach stems from a desire to be effective and helpful, especially when the stakes feel high. This problem-solving focus can sometimes clash with others who prefer to process conflict emotionally or conversationally. For instance, in relationships, a man's inclination to fix things might be interpreted as dismissive if the other person is seeking emotional validation or understanding. This divergence in approaches can create frustration on both sides. The man may feel unappreciated for his efforts to resolve the issue, while the other party might feel unheard or unsupported. Recognizing this difference is key to navigating conflicts more effectively.
It's also important to note that men may express their emotions differently during conflict. While they might not always verbalize feelings like frustration, disappointment, or hurt, these emotions still influence their responses.
Nonverbal cues such as body language, tone of voice, or even withdrawal can reveal what they are experiencing internally. Paying attention to these signals can provide insights into their emotional state, even if they're not explicitly articulating it. One way to foster better conflict resolution with men is to balance problem solving with emotional acknowledgement. Validating their perspective and recognizing their efforts to address the issue can create a more collaborative environment. At the same time, encouraging them to engage with the emotional aspects of the situation without forcing it can help deepen understanding on both sides. Gentle, open-ended questions like, "How do you feel about this?" or "What's on your mind?" can invite a more reflective dialogue. Men also benefit from environments where conflicts are approached with respect and clarity. Heated, emotional confrontations may make them feel cornered or defensive, leading to withdrawal or escalation. Instead, presenting concerns calmly and focusing on shared goals can help them engage more openly. When they feel respected and heard, they are more likely to contribute meaningfully to resolving the issue. Men's conflict resolution style reflects their innate drive to create order and stability. By understanding and appreciating their approach while fostering emotional openness, we can build stronger, more harmonious relationships where differences are navigated with mutual respect and understanding. Respect holds profound importance in male psychology, often acting as a cornerstone for self-worth in relationships. For many men, respect is not just desired but deeply needed to feel valued and acknowledged. It influences how they view themselves, interact with others, and navigate their roles in both personal and professional spheres. Understanding the central role of respect in a man's life can significantly enhance communication and connection, fostering healthier and more fulfilling relationships. Respect for men is closely tied to identity and pride. When a man feels respected, it reinforces his sense of competence and contribution. Whether it's acknowledgement for his efforts at work, his role within the family, or his actions in a friendship, respect affirms that his presence and input matter. Conversely, a lack of respect can leave him feeling undervalued, leading to frustration, withdrawal, or even conflict. This dynamic is particularly evident in situations where his intentions or achievements are dismissed or overlooked. Respect also influences how men perceive their roles in relationships. Many men derive a sense of fulfillment from providing, protecting, or supporting those they care about. When their efforts are recognized and appreciated, it strengthens their commitment and emotional connection. For example, a simple acknowledgement of the time and energy they invest, whether in solving a problem, offering support, or taking on responsibilities, can go a long way in reinforcing mutual understanding and trust. On the other hand, consistent criticism or disregard for their contributions can erode a man's confidence and willingness to engage. In communication, respect is conveyed through tone, language, and approach. Men often respond positively to direct, constructive conversations that focus on the issue rather than attacking their character. Criticism, especially when delivered harshly or in public, can feel deeply wounding. because it may be interpreted as a challenge to their competency or value. However, addressing concerns in a way that emphasizes collaboration and shared goals fosters a sense of partnership and mutual respect. Respect also extends to allowing men the space to express themselves authentically. This means recognizing their unique communication styles, emotional processing, and decision-making methods without judgment or undue pressure to conform to different expectations. Encouraging and supporting them in their pursuits, whether personal or professional, further demonstrates respect for their individuality and ambitions. It's important to note that respect in male psychology is not about unquestioning agreement or submission. Instead, it's about creating an environment where men feel seen, heard, and appreciated. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, where both parties value each other's perspectives, contributions, and boundaries. When men feel respected, they are more likely to reciprocate that respect, leading to deeper trust and more meaningful connections. Respect is a form of emotional currency that builds confidence, fosters open communication, and strengthens bonds. Recognizing its significance in male psychology enables us to better understand their needs and nurture relationships that are grounded in mutual appreciation and support. Respect is not just a gesture, it's a powerful tool for building harmony and connection. Role models play a significant and often defining role in shaping a man's psychology, values, and behavior. From early childhood through adulthood, men look to others for examples of how to navigate life, face challenges, and fulfill their roles in society. These influences, whether consciously or unconsciously adopted, impact how they perceive themselves and interact with the world. Understanding the importance of role models in a man's life can offer insight into his choices, ambitions, and personal growth. From a young age, boys often emulate the behavior and attitudes of those they admire. Fathers, older siblings, teachers, coaches, or even public figures serve as templates for what it means to be a man. Through these observations, boys learn about responsibility, resilience, communication, and how to manage emotions. Positive role models instill values such as integrity, hard work, and empathy, providing a framework for healthy development. Conversely, negative or absent role models can lead to confusion, insecurity, or misguided notions of masculinity. As men grow older, the influence of role models evolves. While childhood figures may still hold sway, new mentors or inspirations emerge, often based on personal aspirations and professional goals. For example, a man entering the workforce may look to a respected colleague or leader for guidance on how to excel in his career. Similarly, a man navigating relationships or fatherhood might seek advice or inspiration from peers or exemplify the qualities he admires in those areas. These role models serve as benchmarks, offering direction and motivation during different life stages. The impact of role models is not limited to direct mentorship or relationships. Media, culture, and societal narratives also shape perceptions of what men should aspire to be. Fictional characters, athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders often symbols of success, strength, or perseverance. While these influences can be inspiring, they can also set unrealistic standards if not balanced with grounded, relatable examples. Recognizing this dynamic is important for understanding how external pressures may affect a man's self-esteem and esteem and decision-making. A crucial aspect of role models is the alignment between their values and a man's own aspirations. A role model who demonstrates authenticity, humility, and a balanced approach to life can have a profound and lasting influence. Conversely, role models who prioritize superficial achievements or unhealthy behaviors can lead to misplaced priorities or internal conflict. Encouraging men to critically evaluate their role models helps them choose influences that genuinely align with their goals and values. Men benefit most from role models who inspire them to grow while also acknowledging their individuality. A healthy role model encourages self-reflection, resilience, and confidence, demonstrating that success and fulfillment are attainable through perseverance and authenticity. These figures also teach men to embrace vulnerability and imperfection as part of the human experience, fostering a more compassionate and balanced sense of self. Role models are powerful influences that shape a man's worldview, choices, and sense of identity. By understanding their importance and fostering positive examples, we can help men build healthier, more purposeful lives, rooted in values that truly resonate with who they are. A man's relationship with vulnerability plays a significant role in his emotional well-being and how he interacts with the world. Often, vulnerability is viewed through the lens of weakness, something to be avoided or hidden. However, for many men, being vulnerable is a challenge due to societal conditioning that promotes strength, self-reliance, and stoicism as ideals of masculinity. This creates a complex dynamic where men may suppress or hide their vulnerabilities, even though they, like everyone else, experience emotional struggles, fears, and insecurities. Understanding how vulnerability functions in male psychology can help foster deeper connections and greater emotional health. Vulnerability is often tied to the fear of judgment or failure. Many men worry that showing vulnerability will make them appear weak or incapable, leading to social rejection or diminished respect from peers. This concern is heightened by traditional masculinity norms that equate vulnerability with being less masculine or less competent. As a result, men might avoid expressing their true feelings, particularly in situations where they feel emotionally exposed, such as in intimate relationships or at work. Instead, they may choose to mask their emotions with behaviors that align with more accepted expressions of strength, such as aggression, silence, or detachment. While these protective measures may provide short-term emotional relief, they often have long-term consequences. Suppressing vulnerability can lead to emotional isolation, where men feel disconnected from others and struggle to form authentic relationships. Without the space to express their fears, uncertainties, and emotional pain, they may struggle with feelings of inadequacy or internal conflict. This is particularly evident when men bottle up their emotions and avoid seeking help, even when they are experiencing significant stress or difficulty. It's important to recognize that vulnerability is not synonymous with weakness, but rather a form of emotional strength. It requires courage to open up and be honest about one's feelings, especially in a society that discourages such openness in men. When men embrace vulnerability, they allow themselves to experience emotional depth, which can lead to more meaningful relationships and personal growth. Vulnerability fosters empathy, as it allows men to connect with others on a human level, offering them a chance to be understood and supported. Encouraging vulnerability starts with creating safe spaces where men feel accepted rather than judged for showing their emotions. Relationships, whether romantic, familial, or platonic, thrive when men feel they can express their true selves without fear of rejection or ridicule. Simple acts of validation, such as listening attentively and responding with empathy, can go a long way in helping men feel comfortable being vulnerable. Additionally, role models who demonstrate the power of vulnerability, whether in personal stories or public figures, can help normalize this behavior, showing that vulnerability is an essential part of emotional health and resilience. Vulnerability is a powerful, often misunderstood aspect of male psychology. It's an essential part of emotional health and personal connection, allowing men to live authentically and build deeper relationships. By challenging societal norms that equate vulnerability with weakness and fostering environments that encourage openness, we can help men embrace this crucial part of their emotional lives. When men are able to be vulnerable, they gain the strength to be more resilient, empathetic, and connected to themselves and others. Understanding male psychology requires recognizing the complex layers that shape a man's thoughts, behaviors, and emotions. From their communication styles to their emotional expressions, need for purpose, and approaches to conflict, each aspect plays a crucial role in their overall well-being and interactions with the world. Respect, role models, and vulnerability are also integral to understanding the deeper aspects of a man's psyche, revealing how essential these elements are in fostering meaningful connections and personal growth. By acknowledging these psychological dynamics and creating environments that nurture understanding, openness, and empathy, we can help men embrace their full emotional and psychological potential. This not only strengthens individual relationships, but also builds a more compassionate and supportive society where men are empowered to live authentically and thrive.